Hotspur Stadium here in London. It will be ring unfinished business. Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Benn 2 this Saturday, once again, November 15th. Tickets are still available. We expect to have about 60,000 plus once again.
Michael, and a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to this evening's main event, final press conference. Listen, just as their fathers did, who joined them on the stage here this evening all those years ago. In fact, 35 years ago next week is the anniversary of that Sunday night in Birmingham when Chris Eubank Sr. and Nigel Benn first did battle. And here we are, all those years later, part 4 of Eubank Benn in the history books, part 2 between the sons. A rematch that truly sells itself, aside from the family history, the once-in-a-lifetime stuff, the unique setup that we have here in the build-up to what promises to be another special night. Just cast your mind back to April. Throughout the whole build-up, April 26th, 2025 was spoken about of being an I was there moment, and let's be honest, it was an I was there occasion before the opening bell had even rang at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. We remember the cinema, the theatre, as Chris Eubank Sr. made his way into the stadium alongside his son, Chris Eubank Jr., as Conor Benn and Nigel Benn watched on backstage. We remember the ring walks, the pyro, the atmosphere, simply the best, the Benn chimes and dangerous. And then, of course, the opening bell rang, and we witnessed what can only be described as one of the greatest fights we have seen on these shores in many, many years. A fight which exceeded all expectations, a 12-round war of attrition for 36 minutes, which saw Chris Eubank Jr. emerge the victor. And throughout their journeys as fighters, comparisons have always been made to their fathers, perhaps the way they are, the way they speak, the way they fight, their temper, their temperament. But I think the most poignant and beautiful comparison that was made that night between the sons and their fathers was that of their spirit, their heart, their desire, their tenacity and their will to win. And all of it culminated and was summarised fairly well by Chris Eubank Sr. Legendary behaviour in the boxing ring. So what's at stake in part 2 for Chris Eubank Jr. It's a chance to cement once and for all family Eubank supremacy and push on to the big names he's targeted for a long time now and those world title opportunities. For Conor Benn, it is the quest for revenge. It is the thirst for redemption, and probably most importantly, a long-awaited victory for the Benn family over the Eubanks, so he can return safely home to his father, Nigel Benn, who sits beside him on the stage here this evening.
It feels like the Chris Eubank Jr. show all over again. It feels like the fourth of a family dynasty, a family rivalry that has gone on for a long time. But this is a generational fight with generational stakes for Chris Eubank Jr. This is the moment I really believe he cements himself as a great in British boxing. For the attention that he brings to the sport, this is the 7th fight that I promoted with him, and every single fight is a spectacle. And this one is no different. It's a huge moment. We know the fights beyond this. We know the names beyond this. We know the big nights we want to bring to this country, bring back to stadiums again. But it only happens with a statement performance on Saturday night, and that's, I believe, is what we'll get.
Matchroom Boxing's promoter, Eddie Hearn. Eddie, here we go again. You say you've been very impressed with your man, Conor Benn. Yourself and Chris Eubank Sr. have had a little bit of back and forth this week, but what does it mean to you, to Conor, to be in this position once again?
Wow, he's finally learned. He's finally learned, guys, that he cannot speak during the press conference. What a beautiful thing it is that I don't have to interrupt this guy. This is great music, by the way. I don't know. Okay. No, this is great. Thank you, Eddie, for finally understanding your position here. I guess I'm just going to jump straight in with what everybody really wants to know. And that is, I'll wait for the music to stop. Oh wait, he's actually doing the clipboard. Wow, that's impressive.
Love Actually style from Eddie Hearn tonight.
Well, as long as he's not speaking, that's fine. Wow, this is embarrassing, man. I can't believe this guy's really doing it. This is supposed to be the best promoter in the world, and the guy's got clipboards up on the stage, smiling like an idiot because he's too scared to talk at a press conference. That is, wow.
From Mr. Chris Eubank Jr. to open up the press conference here this evening. Chris, when you think back to all these years ago when you decided to venture into the world of boxing, because if your dad could, then why couldn't you? And you sit here now, back-to-back stadium headliners, the eyes of the world on Chris Eubank Jr. once again, with your father sat beside you. At that time, did you have any idea, Chris, of what you were signing up for when you sit here on an occasion like this once again?
You know, I had no idea that I would be sitting in front of you guys today with this man by my side. I found out a couple of hours ago, so I'm just as shocked as you guys are. I still don't know what he might say, what he might do. I'm sure it's going to be interesting regardless. But all jokes aside, there is something I need to address first and foremost. Eddie Hearn, Conor Benn, Nigel Benn, over the last few months have been making accusations and claims that my father was paid to come to the fight in April. Just barefaced lies. And anyone with a brain knows that that's not true. But I still have to address it because it's extremely disrespectful to my father and myself. And I also think it's pretty disrespectful to the Saudis for them to imply that they would pay my father to do that. So yeah, I'm just getting it out into the open, saying for once and for all that that never happened, and for these men to stop lying to the public.
Conor, welcome. Here we go. Not long to go now. Similar question to what I just asked Chris. You ventured into this world because you said you chose to, not because you had to. You've had your highs and lows in the sport of boxing. But even from the Conor Benn of April, what have you learned about yourself of why this world is a world for Conor Benn?
Yeah, I mean, listen, when I first turned pro, I didn't envision being here, of course, especially not sitting next to Chris and fighting Chris. You know, we're both at different stages of our career when we first turn over, or when I first turned over anyway. You know, for us to be sitting here, it's legacy and it's generational. I didn't choose this life. It sort of just fell into place, and here I am, the fighter I am. I love to fight. It's what I do. My dad's got 8 kids, and I'm the one that chose to live this life.
Happy to see Chris Eubank Sr. here today, Conor.
Very, very. Yeah. It's good to have him here. I mean, sitting at the top table, having my dad here and sitting here, it's always meant to be. It was meant to be first time round. We are where we are because of our dads. Yes, we had to work hard. But credit to Senior and my old man that me and Junior can sit here and carry this on.